Fictional superpowers fall into three familiar buckets: an inherent genetic gift, a freak mutation, or a skill learned through rigorous study. When we see Sasuke Uchiha in the middle of a fight, he presents an aggressive spectacle: erratic lightning strikes, blazing red eyes, and chaotic energy projection. On the surface, it appears to be standard combat, but Sasuke's abilities don't fit those archetypes. They are a biological curse that activates specifically in response to extreme psychological distress. If we look closer, we can see how a character's fighting style functions as a physical map of their deepest trauma. Viewing Sasuke's powers through this lens recontextualizes the world building, mapping the mechanics of an action fantasy magic system onto the specific stages of his grief. This system is built on the Uchiha clan's inherited ocular ability, the Sharingan. The biological trigger for this power is specific. When an Uchiha experiences intense emotional loss, their brain releases a specialized form of chakra. Looking at this medical cross-section, specialized chakra travels a distinct pathway, routing from the brain's center directly into the optic nerves. Reaching the eye, it forces a physical mutation. The pupil and iris shift into a red geometric pattern, granting heightened visual perception. For Sasuke, this exact biological mechanism activated on the night his entire family was murdered, forcing his eyes to transform for the first time. His foundational advantage in combat isn't a martial arts achievement, it is fueled by a psychological wound that remains open. As his grief curdles into focused hatred, his abilities escalate to match his deteriorating mental state. This shift culminates in a higher-tier mutation called the Susanoo, a towering skeletal giant made of dense energy that manifests around his body. While this avatar possesses immense offensive capability, it is primarily a wall, an impenetrable defense mechanism for an isolated teenager shutting out the entire world. Utilizing these advanced emotional powers carries a heavy physical cost. Overusing this ocular magic systematically destroys his vision. Physical blindness becomes the literal price of a quest for revenge that has metaphorically blinded him to everything else. We can contrast these inherited, trauma-based curses with his purely learned elemental techniques, specifically his lightning blade attacks. Those lightning techniques require years of physical training and represent his conscious attempts to control his own destiny outside the confines of his genetics. His rise in raw combat power correlates directly with his descent into self-destruction and physical isolation. Eventually, his abilities reach their final stage, the Rinnegan. Reaching this stage requires a shift in perspective. He must move away from the isolated node of personal vengeance and expand his awareness to absorb the broader, complex history of his world. While his new worldview is still flawed, this broader understanding replaces his isolation with a desire for systemic revolution. This progression ensures the magic system never operates in a vacuum. Every increase in power is tied directly to a shift in his mental state. For writers and creators, it demonstrates that a fictional magic system is most compelling when its mechanics are bound to the protagonist's emotional arc. Sasuke's legacy endures not because of the visual spectacle, but because every new ability serves as a permanent physical scar